run into the kitchen real quick and get some video there, and I'll be back. That's all right. This is Jamie with the 50 Sunday Store. I'm hanging out right now with Haywood Street Church.
Hello.
And what are we doing here today?
Well, on Tuesday night, well actually Tuesday all day, we do a prep. So we come here early in the morning and we prepare all the food that we're going to serve tomorrow. We're not prepared all, but get it ready to be cooked tomorrow. And that takes about 12 hours depending on the menu. And then we end the night with some friends of ours from the come in that are from the margins that come in and we serve beans and rice and we sit down and be in fellowship together.
Awesome. So a lot of people here that will be eating tonight are from campers.
Most of them are campers, yes.
Coming through.
Right, different places, different areas where they have campsites. And they come and they eat with us to get out of the weather for a little while. And we are in relationship with just about all of them. We know everybody here like a family. And it's our time during the week to sit down and reacquaint ourselves and just share the gospel.
Is that an iPhone 6? No, it's Samsung.
It's a Samsung Galaxy.
Amen.
What's your name?
Eric.
Eric, and you're working here with the Haywood Street Congregation?
Volunteering today, yeah.
You're
I've been part of it for about since they started in some capacity or another.
That's been about, I think you said 4 years?
I think about 5 years, I think 4 or 5 years.
Awesome. And what were you doing before you came here?
I've been homeless for probably about 25 years, and I came to Asheville, and there's just, I mean, I go to I'm involved with like 4 or 5 different churches here. The community here is just really neat. Having this thing on Wednesday is really cool because it's a totally separate event. You know, it's especially since it's in the middle of the week, and it's not necessarily for people who are religious. You know, a lot of people will just come and get the meal and get some clothes and this and that, and maybe sign up for food stamps and whatever else they need. And those who feel called to go to the service then can go to the service, and it's always full up there. But there's a lot of people who they're just here for the meal, and they're like, I think it's the example of hospitality, like you said, radical hospitality that draws people to maybe give God a chance. It's a community. You know, we may be a little dysfunctional at times, but everybody, tries to get along with one another. Some people are better at it than others. Some people are pretty selfish still and don't really, they don't get the idea of, you got to serve one another, that kind of thing. But I see so many good examples of how we're supposed to be that for those who aren't there yet, they're developing. You can really only show by example. When I drink, I'm trying to deal with my problems. There's times when, I joke that alcohol is a form of meditation for me. It's like instant meditation. It puts me in that place where I can be at peace and be like, okay, now what's my problem? Well, a lot of times it's just something. It's a habit. It's a form of self-medication. It's like just trying to shut down the noise. That's like being in here to me. I've enjoyed being here all day, but now that everybody's showing up and it's starting to get noisy and all that, I'm not really wanting to be here. I'm probably going to sit somewhere quietly and let people enjoy their meal and then clean up afterwards. Because to me, it's like I said, everybody brings their problems in here with them, and I'm like, man, I've been dealing with it all day. and then all of a sudden people come in and half of them are drunk and they're acting foolish, and it's just, there's times when I just can't. Yeah, I'll help you out. Okay, So are you going to be here tomorrow?
And he said, this is the ministry of helplessness. This is what we do, right? Because as soon as you think that you've got what this other person needs, a wall goes up. Right?
That's profound what you just said there. Say that one more time.
Well, as soon as you think that you have what this other person needs, then a wall goes up. Right?
If I got anything from tonight, that is the one soundbite.
Right.
One of the worst addictions that I know of, at least in my life, is self-pity. It's really such a seductive weakness, I guess. You know, it's oddly enough, it feels good. It's like listening to sad music and just continuing to be sad, because it's like, you know, maybe people will feel sorry for me, or, you know, and sometimes people do because they don't know what else to do. They're like, oh, it's so sad, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like being addicted to negative attention. There's a lot of things I've learned being on the streets, you know, that have helped me to be able to, they've helped to strengthen me for one thing, but they've also helped me to be strong for other people. And I think that's a big part of it, is really being of service to others. And I can't do it if I'm not of service to myself. If I'm not living right, I can't really, you know what I'm saying? I've applied for housing. I've got tons of friends here who have places to stay, and I'm welcome to stay with them. I had an AA sponsor that put me up in a motel room the other night just for the fun, just for the heck of it. I mean, just for no reason. And I've been staying with friends. I got a good friend of mine I stayed with the last couple of nights. All of the missions, Salvation Army, stuff like that, they all have this thing called Code Purple. If it's below 0, they have to take you in, they have to let you stay. You know, it's really pretty amazing what you can get used to.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's like an extreme weather challenge. You know, I got out of prison just before Thanksgiving, and it's been a really cold winter, and I just kind of got like a natural high from the cold. I mean,
because you were pushing the boundaries, or you were being extreme.
Oh yeah. Like I didn't sleep or hardly eat for like 5 days. I just walked around until I was just so exhausted. I was like, I just had to lay down, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't had my own apartment for probably 20-some years.
Yeah.
So I'm used to me, I can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
I usually like to sleep by a church. Have you met Popeye?
I just met him just real quick.
He's cool.
Yeah, he seems cool.
He's one of my friends. I've known since I've been here, and he was with the 101st Airborne in the Army.
Incarnation is real, and it happens in a place like this. And it's so cool being here, because we're not throwing away the tradition of the church, but here I think that we allow Christ to show us what it looks like to breathe a new life into the things that the church has been doing for hundreds of years, and to try to dust off the relics, to see what's there, and to see how God is using and working those things out here in this community. It's been, yeah, like I said before, it's been an amazing experience.
I think somebody just gave you rabbit ears.
So it's really been tough, because I've been so close, and I'm just like, it's aggravating, because being homeless a lot of times you can't help but run into the cops. And I've been arrested over 100 times. I mean, that's how pernicious addiction is that it's like, even though you continue to get, you know, knocked around over and over again, it's like, well, it's not that big of a deal. But I just got tired of it. I'm just like, you know, it's annoying.
Yeah.
And half of my time since I've been in Asheville, incarcerated in one form or another. It's scary because you know, I mean, I know for myself, and I don't think this is uncommon. You know, we tend to cling to things that really are meaningless. You know, like money or fame or popularity or whatever. And when those things are taken away from us, it's like it's disconcerting. It's scary. It's like, you know, I'm not happy about it. I'm like, okay, you know, God, I really don't trust you. Now what? And that's what transformed me, was I realized I didn't really have any faith. I didn't trust God. And so then I said, well, you know I believe in you, but I'm like, you know, could you please help me have some faith? And that changed my life. When I asked for faith, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm willing to help you, but you got to decide for yourself what it is that you want.
Right.
You know, I'm just as inspired by people's unbelief as by their faith. To me, it's the most stubborn individuals that inspire me to be like, okay, well, I got a question for you. I'll be like, all right, so if you've got all the answers, or if you're so sure there's not a God, then what's the purpose of life? You know, and most people who don't believe in God or say they don't are generally unhappy or bitter people.
Who's that go to? Oh, there he is. Hey, good to see you.
You know, but again, that self-pity thing, it's like, well, you know, no wonder, you know, of course I hate God, because, you know, look what's he done for me. And I'm like, well, you know, he is kind of busy, and if you're not going to do your part, why should he really, you know, why should he help you? You know, you have to do, you got to meet God, you got to seek God. But again, I've known people who have died in their addiction just because they stubbornly refuse to let go of their ego and care about something besides their own problem.
So why don't people want to spend time with the drunk, with the prostitute, with the, and again, I think part of it's fear. And what we practice here is, you know, the ministry of helplessness and the ministry of presence. We are present with each other, and that's what we offer. And that's what you offered her, and that's all you have to give. That's all you needed to have to give. There's nothing you were going to give her that was somehow going to help her more.
Presence is the healer.
Presence is the healer. That's right. Because that's all we have with each other. And so and so when I say, you know, articulate that, because now I'm not just telling groups who come in the script. You know, I'm telling them my experience, the experience that I hear from other people, the experience that I have lived now for years.
Hey, I'm Daryl Dason. I am one of the pastors here at Haywood Street, along with Brian Combs, and I do a little bit of everything here. Really, this is just my family, and I'm just so blessed and happy that I get to come here and just to really just hang out with people and to really see what it means for us to be community together. And that's, I think, the strength of Haywood Street, is that we're trying to figure out what it means for us to be God's hands and feet and body here in this place in Nashville. So I just got out of seminary in Durham. I went to Duke Divinity School, so I graduated in May. So this is actually my first appointment, my first big gig job, where I'm trying to figure out what it means for me to be a pastor.
Wow.
And it's been cool, because when I was in seminary, like you're not told that there are places like this. Like you're really told that you're going to go to this traditional local parish, but this really starts to blow the walls off of what I think churches really formed and shaped me to really imagine something new and different that really Christ's body is being called to here now. We don't shortchange how we feed people or serve people here in this place. We always try to see what it looks like for us to engage people how we like to engage. So that's why here we try to have this place be something like a 5-star restaurant. So when you come in on a Wednesday for our downtown welcome table, you'll see cloth on the table, you see linen wrapped, utensils, to see servers or companions over at each table pouring drinks and whatnot and bringing food to the table, and then around the table you see that they're round. There's no head at the table, and it really serves to get people to really. We're kind of forcing them to go into that type of relationship that we want, that giving and receiving and serving as a family style.
Yeah.
So folks are really starting to see that there's no head here. We all give and take. We give and receive and try to see what it looks like for us to see the gifts that God has placed in them, and then to let those things breathe into us as we try to bring it to them. So it's this really beautiful reciprocal relationship that we try to cultivate with all of our ministries here. Being here makes me see, I don't know, how easy ministry can be. Like, we don't need to recreate the wheel. We just need to do what we do, and just in doing what we do and sharing the love of God, like we have been shared the love of God. Like, we really start to see these things kind of organically push up, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's also easy at the same time.
Yeah, you're not recreating. You're not recreating the wheel. It's like you're just doing what Jesus commanded.
Yeah.
And part of the responsibility was talking to groups, especially youth groups who come in the summer frequently, talking to them about what Haywood Street was. And to a certain degree, it was a little bit of a script.
Yeah.
Because I had sat in on what we call orientation sessions, so it was not unfamiliar to me. But the very first week that I was in that role without her, we overlapped a little bit, so I could shadow her and find out things. But the very first week, we were grilling out. Dave had set up grills outside. We were grilling hamburgers and hot dogs out in the parking lot. That was the meal that day. And I'm going around making sure everybody has what they need. And Dave comes in and he comes past me and he says, there's a woman in the lobby whose husband just died and she needs to see a pastor. And I said, well, Dave, I'm not a pastor. He said, you're the closest we have now. You need to go talk to her. So I went and I sat, and she was devastated. I'm not trained for this. And I mean, all I could do was sit there and talk to her and basically cry with her. And this went on for hours. And when she left, I felt completely inadequate, like a complete failure, undone, like I'd made a terrible decision, right? And Brian was around, at the time too. He finished the service and he kind of, stepped in a little bit. But then afterwards, debriefed with me, and he said, this is the ministry of helplessness. This is what we do.
Cat Daddy Dog. I just wanted to say hi again.
Oh, God.
What has Christ done for your life?
It's changed it. It really has. I still, do a lot of different things, but I was a real bad alcoholic. Real bad.
Yeah.
And it helped out a lot. I've been with Brian on the Appalachian Trail. Stuff like, we get to do stuff like that, go to Virginia and stuff. It's helped me keep my things working. I mean, sanity in another word, good way, because I didn't tell them where I'd be now.
I hear a lot of stories about how alcohol just took everything from people.
Everything.
And so you've been successful now?
No, not all the way, but I'm good.
No, you're good.
It ain't nothing like I used to be. I used to be
That's
town
good.
drunk.
God bless, yeah.
Yeah, I was a town drunk. I'm serious. I had 97 public drunks in this town.
Wow.
They know me by my nickname and my name, police station.
Wow.
Now they all respect me, because I'm just glad to see you doing good. We have the real police come down here on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We got a regular man named Jim working the sheriff's department. There'll be so many people down here tomorrow. It'll be unbelievable. You'll like it. You're going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be great. You see how we roll in. There'll be all kinds of different sorts of people coming down here and volunteering. We feed them sitting down, bring the food to them like a restaurant. It ain't no standing in line and all that.
You treat them as equals.
You're right.
Yeah.
And we got a clothes closet back there for clothes, medical help upstairs. We have haircuts free on Wednesdays. The food stamp man comes down here, does it all through the internet, computer. Nobody has to do nothing, go out of their way or nothing about it. That's just the way he does. I mean, it's really good. Brian got this place rolling.
And this is how we do it. We got somebody holding the shotgun mic, getting all the sound. All right, we're gonna go into the Holy Chaos real quick. You work for Haywood Street Tuesday?
I do.
And what do you do here?
I help serve. I pretty much do anything in the dining rooms that they need me to do, whatever they need me to do.
That's awesome. What brought you here?
I was homeless at one time.
Hi, Mary.
Wait a minute.
How long have you worked for Haywood?
I've been here ever since I'm talking loud enough. I've been here ever since we started.
What brought you here?
I came to eat a meal one day, and I just felt this was my calling, so I've been volunteering. I'm one of the head cooks in the kitchen.
That's the, Before I Die. They had this downtown too on Biltmore Avenue. I don't know exactly who started this, but I think it's really cool.
That is cool.
Some of it I'm not sure. It's all kosher, but you know, everybody has their thing. I said I want to live forever before I die, but that's just me.
My walk with Christ has been a long one and an up and down one, and I'm still walking with him, and he's still walking with me. The good thing about Christ is he'll meet you where you are. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you are in your life, he'll meet you right there and take you forward. And so it took me a while to understand that and come to believe that. But let me tell you something. Without Christ, I couldn't do nothing. And with him, I can do all things. And what I've learned to do is stop doing things my way and do things his way. When I say that, I say, before I do what I do, I said, Lord, should I do this? Scripture says, acknowledge me in all your ways and I'll direct your path. And that is so true, you know what I'm saying? But now I wake up and say, Lord, direct my feet, control my tongue. Let me do things to be pleasing in your sight. Because I did bad things for so long, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was the way of life. I won't ever get nowhere. And now I've received the rewards just abundantly, you know what I'm saying? Nobody can treat you better than God. So just let that old evil stuff go. Let that left-hand side go. Start following your right. Do things that you really think you shouldn't do and try doing those things and watch the results, because doing it my way has not been working. I pray constantly and I put my faith and trust in God, and everything just works out right. And Haywood Street is a big foundation for that, you know what I'm saying? Because they accept you wherever you are in life, try to help you, and try to get you to have a better relationship like with Christ, you know what I'm saying? Like a personal relationship. And that has helped me. And I try to tell people on the streets the same thing, because I'm from the streets, you know what I'm saying? I'm still on the streets.
Well, you're on the street here in Asheville, right, or in the hills? Or? I'm
on the streets with no place to stay, no door key to no door. But I sleep in a bed every night. Now, I never know from one day to the next where I'm going to sleep. But God finds me a place, you know what I'm saying? Even when shelters have told me I have to leave out, I can go out to the street, and when I get to the street, somebody says, "Pee-wee, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just chilling." I said, "Come on, you need a place to stay." I mean, don't even go ask. He said, "Acknowledge me in all your ways, and I will supply your needs." And he will. He loved the birds of the sky, the fish of the sea, and he loves us even more. So he will give us. He'll grant us things we need. You know, he'll supply all of your needs, not some of them. So just put your faith and trust in God. You can't beat it.
Do you do any evangelizing on the street with people?
We do a Bible study here at Haywood Street on Tuesdays. But I walk with these people on the streets every day. And some of them come to me with their problem, and some of them we just, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the same boat they in, you know what I'm saying? And they can relate to me, and I can relate to them, and I help them as much as I can, especially spiritually, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a firm believer in that Bible, you know what I'm saying? I got my bag right there, and I keep my Bible with me, you know what I'm saying? That's my sword. Keep your sword with you. I keep my word, and I try to share it with them, you know what I'm saying? But we got a wonderful Bible study going on here every Tuesday from 11:30 to 12:30. Haywood Street got it going on.
That's amazing. Thank you for your
God bless you.
testimony.
Thank you,
God
man.
bless.
Love you, Pee-wee.
Love you. All right.
This way.
Hi.
Right.
Thank you for that. That was really good.
Yeah. Like I said, I've known Pee-wee since pretty much since I've been in Asheville, and I've watched the whole community here is just amazing. I mean, you talk about wanting to interview people. We could spend all day. I've met a lot of people here. I don't know everybody here. Right. This is it. When I got here to Asheville, this church wasn't even active. There wasn't even a church here. I mean, there wasn't a community here.
We can really start to see glimpses of the kingdom here and now. So thank you for blessing your presence, and thank you for your willingness to come and be a part of our community here today as we see what it means for us to be the body of Christ here in Asheville.
Is to will one thing. We are Christ's people. I'll add to that, purity of heart is to do God's will. That is the one thing that we are called to do.
So being unified may not necessarily mean that we're called to be this homogeneous group of people with one language, with one custom, all wearing the same clothes, but maybe there's something that is outside of that unifies us all, who we are. This agape love that we live into is that thing that is a unifying force. It makes us calm down so that we can realize that we may not be speaking the same words, but we can sit back and let God breathe in the words that allow us to open our ears so that we may be able to hear our brothers and sisters how God is including us.
That makes me think, especially with some of the stuff that's going on in France right now, it's so easy for the world to look at an extremist of a religious group and then vilify that particular religion. I think and a lot of people would want to be unified, and so to the church should always be to say, I simply don't understand, but just think about your life differently.
We have to find a way of coming to a place that Christ told us we want. But I can't imagine his idea that was bold.
Everything's straight line, bold cuts, and button-up shirts. But you see, in this thinking that they had it all together, they thought that they mastered everything under the sun. Because for them, progress was inevitable. The more uniform they became, the more they felt as though that they were becoming perfect. So in this pursuit of perfection, we see the ripple effects of what has happened here and now. From then to our contemporary time, we hear folks saying Black lives matter. But that's not to say that other lives don't matter, or all lives don't matter. But I think when we look at our history, it's telling us something. We've been a people that crave uniformity, that crave conformity. And in our pursuits to unify, we've tended to push out those that don't quite fit into the uniform, whether it be because of race, whether it be culture, gender, sexual orientation, economic status. The list can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. The issue that we see here today is that we thought that we have progressed past this point. That's why I think that Martin Luther King's words speak so profoundly here and so timeless. Even in places where we're having worship, we forget that those may be the most segregated times in America. Even when we're worshiping God, we're pushing people out. It is through this realization that we see that maybe we have not come as far as we thought. Maybe this is our Tower of Babel. We have been afraid to be scattered. We want to make a name for ourselves. So we hoisted ourselves off from people that look different. Because we think to be scattered means to be pushed back into chaos. Diversity is hard. It isn't something that comes easy. It takes sitting around the table to learn of someone's life. It takes being vulnerable enough to come to a place and say, I have wronged you. And it takes even more vulnerability to realize that we can't just brush everything over just by saying, I'm sorry. To be unified is to come into these hard and difficult places. To be unified is to realize that our unity isn't in the particularities of our lives, but in God. And we see this in the Pentecost story in Acts 2. When the Spirit fell and the disciples started speaking, they were speaking in the languages of the people there. God could have given them one unified language, but no, God said, your language matters, your language matters, your language matters. It didn't make any sense to anybody else. He said, aren't these those things who matter? Are these disciples? How are they speaking one language? But I think that really tries to tell us what it means for us to be unified. To be unified is to affirm the differences in all of us. And to realize that what we're unified in is God above all else. Though that may be scary and hard, to be scattered isn't actually a curse. A blessing that God rains down in Genesis story when everything was created in the beginning. God says, go out, scatter toward all regions of the earth. This is a blessing that I'm placing upon you. To be unified means that we come together like this community here. Different races, some different languages, different economic statuses, different flows, different you name it. And we try to see what it looks like for us to join in on the chorus that God is conducting with our own individual parts, so that we can start to see what it looks like to worship the one who's here in our midst. Amen.
Amen. In biblical times, it was understood that blood was life. I mean, it makes sense, right? Blood comes out of your body and you stop living. Blood is life. So when we are told this is the blood of Christ, this is the life of Christ. This life of Christ is poured out for us and for many, that we might be assured of our forgiveness, assured of our place with God, assured of how valuable our lives are, that Christ offers life to us. we talked about unity and what it means to be unified. Well, this bread is one piece of bread. From a very literal perspective, we each eat a piece of this bread. And then that becomes a part of us. The molecules of it literally become a part of our body. So here is one piece of bread, one thing, consumed by many, so that we all are a part of one. This bread is broken, so that we who are many are one, so that we who are broken are healed. All are invited to come to the table. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, what religion you come from, or if you come from none at all, you're invited to come to the table and feast on what Christ has offered you. Yeah, people. Okay.
If you feel so led, please come help us serve the elders.
Starts in Asheville. It'll be a city known for Jesus instead of tourism. Now you got it on record.
Amen.